Alright, in this video I'll be showing you my setup for a two-wire control for a AC motor. 100, we're going to start with the 120 208 volt power supply, and it runs from there into a contactor, and then from the contactor to an overload relay, and then from that overload relay we're going to go to our three-phase motor, which is set up for low voltage. Um, then we're going to go back up to the contactor, which functions as a relay. So power supply on A1, A2. So when energized, it closes the circuit and turns the motor on. And when de-energized, open circuits and turns the motor off. We have a light that tells us when that happens. And our actual switch, we can turn everything on and off. So when you see the green lights on, that means the motor is running. You can see that. All right, this next portion, I'm going to be talking about three-wire control. So basically what I did here is I went from 120 volt, 120 208 volt power supply. And now that's going to run into a lockout module. And then from the lockout module, we're going to go from there to the contactor. And then from the contactor, we're going to go over to the overload relay, and from the relay over to the motor. Set it up, the motor in low voltage. For the control, we're going to go from L1 to the emergency switch, and then from the emergency switch to the the stop button, and then out of the start button to a 1 on the contactor, out of A2, and to 96 of the overload relay, and out 95 back to neutral. We also have to had a parallel on 13 and 14 to latch the circuit to keep the motor running when we lose the start, when we release the start button. Okay, in this video we'll be showing you the directional control. This is very simple. The only thing that we need to do was we need to, instead of running from the overload relay to the motor, all I would need to do is just add a cam switch in between where I ran from the overlay to the overload relay to the cam switch, and then from the cam switch to the motor. Once that's done, now I can control the direction of the motor by changing, and with that switch, just the terminals, so that it can go either way. It can go counterclockwise or clockwise, just with the turn of a switch, and don't have to manually change wires over